Hi, I'm Dr. James Green, Director of the Palm Beach County Community Services Department, and I'm here to share with you our community response plan for House Bill 1365, which is the public camping bill. The first thing I want to share is homelessness in Palm Beach County. Right now we have 2,126 individuals who've identified as unhoused or in our shelters, and that number is from the 2024 point in time count. Now, what you'll also see is that we had an increase overall in homelessness for seniors, for youth ages 18 to 24, and for chronically unhoused populations in Palm Beach County. This just gives you somewhat of a trend line as to how homelessness has looked over the past 5 years. You'll see in 2024, there are 1,580 individuals who are unsheltered or unhoused. We counted on the streets, and we have about 546 individuals in our homeless shelters. When you look at the total percentage of unhoused by counties, you'll see that Palm Beach is comparable to many other counties throughout the state of Florida. You'll see that we have about 0.00014 percentage of our homeless population here in Palm Beach County, and then when you look at Broward, Lee County, Orange, Hillsborough, Duval, and Miami-Dade, the number is comparable. An important thing to note is what drives homelessness. And what we've seen through research study after research study is that homelessness is driven by the cost of housing. And what research also points to is that changes in rents precipitate changes in the rates of homelessness. And homelessness increases when rents rise by amounts that low-income household cannot afford. There are misnomers or narratives about homelessness being driven by mental health or addiction. But what research points to is that when compared to the cost of housing, that these factors play only a minor role in driving the rates of homelessness, and housing cost is the primary driver. And so it's really important to be informed about homelessness and why it occurs. When we look at the rental rate trends compared with the homeless point in time count, we also see similar trends. The rental rates going up, you'll see here in 2020 and 2021, 2022, and 2023, where the eviction trends went down. And this was primarily due to the eviction moratorium. We know that the moratorium prevented a lot of people from being evicted, but once it was lifted, you'll see those trends beginning to go up again. The point in time count, you'll see those fluctuations occur as well. A lot of it is due to COVID and the number of people that we were able to identify during that period of time. But you see the rental rates continue to increase and then flattens out over the next couple of years. And so it's really interesting when you look at the data. What we also have seen is those who are coming into our department for funding, that 90% of the families who are earning less than 30% of the area median income, we're seeing that they are cost burdened, meaning they're paying more than 30% of their total gross income on housing. And so 90% of them are cost burdened. When we look at our homeless system and how it works, essentially you'll get calls to our contact center or our homeless outreach team. We refer to them as the hot team members. We'll receive calls, or we may receive referrals from service providers. Anyone who has identified a person in need of housing, or if you are a person that needs housing, you can call 833-HHA-WILL. That's 833 Homeless and Housing Alliance WILL, and you'll be navigated for services. And so if they're families, they'll go on one track. We always want to figure out what we can do to either connect you to family members, or whether that's locally or out of the state and find ways to divert you from being into the homeless system. So that's always going to be our first step, because what research has shown is that about 4 out of every 7 individuals can actually be placed with a friend or family member, and that's usually the most appropriate placement for them. But if they are not able to be placed, then we will conduct a VI SPDAT to look at their acuity levels, and based on that, they'll be put on the wait list. If they're a family, then they'll go into our family shelter. If they are individuals or couples, they'll go into either the Lewis Center or the Housing Resource Center 2 in the Lake Worth area. And so we have emergency shelters, our rapid rehousing, and our permanent supportive housing. Those are the different programs that are available. And it's important to note that if an individual is homeless, that it's not necessary to put them directly into shelters. Oftentimes we're able to place them directly into housing if they can find housing and if they have some type of income available. And so that is the preferred method that we would use. But if we need to put them into shelters, they can stay there for up to 90 days. And that gives us time to get them document ready so that they're prepared to move into their own apartment. And then we can subsidize their rents partially, or if they're really severe in terms of mental health or substance use disorders, there are issues there, then they may pay 30% of their income, and we do what we can to subsidize the remaining portions. Oftentimes you see individuals who are on the verge of homelessness, and if that is the case, they're at risk, then we work with our legal aid society or Florida Rural Legal Services and the courts to prevent them from being evicted, and then wrap supports around them with partnerships through our homeless service providers. All right, I'm going to move through this rather quickly, but it's important for you to know that our response to Bill 1365 really is encompassed by 5 areas. 1, we want to prevent homelessness from happening. 2, we're going to raise the awareness about this bill, what it says, what it does, and how we're responding to it. 3, we're going to focus on increasing access to permanent and temporary housing. 4, we're going to enhance coordination amongst service providers. And 5, we're going to do what we can to leverage technology to ensure that we are operating in the most efficient manner possible. So when we talk about preventing homelessness, there are a number of programs that we have in place currently. I mentioned the one with legal aid and Florida Rural Legal Services, but we also provide rental assistance through our portal. You can go to rentalassistancepbc.org and access relocation assistance for those who are eligible. And then we work with our Homeless Advisory Board and our Legislative Affairs Office to work with our state legislators or our federal elected officials on policy recommendations that will help us to address this issue here on the ground. When I talk about policy issues, I think it's important to note that we're looking down the road. There are many developments that currently have units set aside at a lower rate, and they're required to do that for about 30 years because they've received tax credits from the state. And we see a number of those units that are set aside at an affordable rate, perhaps for our seniors or other populations that are vulnerable. We see that those units that are set aside at an affordable rate will be expiring. The time frame will expire, and there's going to be a need to address housing there because developers will begin to charge market rate, but seniors are on a fixed income. And so we want to make sure that we are prepared for that. Another thing that we're doing is focusing on a robust and a comprehensive public awareness campaign to educate the public. And we want to use all types of media, whether it's social media, radio, outreach events, any measures we can in terms of getting this message out, we want to execute. And we're also putting all of this information on a website. You can go to thehomelessplan.org. That's thehomelessplan.org. You can see this PowerPoint presentation, a more extensive presentation that we've provided to the Board of County Commissioners. You'll see information on how we are working to respond to HB1365, but also our overall homeless plan for the county. Another thing that we're doing in terms of outreach is making sure that we are training individuals, whether those are public employees or faith-based community, businesses, anyone who's interested in knowing more about our response to this bill. We're raising awareness about what the bill says, who they can call and speak to about this issue, especially if there's a problem. We're putting signage out in designated locations in our parks, placing signage in our bus stops, in other areas where we see high levels of homelessness. And we're making sure that they know that they can call 833-HHA-WILL to get assistance. And so all of our compliance officers, park rangers, security guards, library personnel, anyone who may encounter an individual that's unhoused will be trained on how to respond. We talked about increasing the availability of temporary and permanent housing, and we're working with nonprofit service providers like the Salvation Army to expand beds. We're looking at the acquisition of various properties to utilize as places to repurpose for housing, permanent housing. And we're also looking to increase capacity at the Lewis Center, which is a 66-bed facility or shelter in the West Palm Beach area. We're looking to continue our partnership with the housing authorities, and we recently did a ribbon cutting for 17 cottage homes. Some people refer to them as tiny homes, but they're much larger than that. They're about 800 to 1,200 square feet, and they're going to house homeless families, and we're excited about that. And then we're expanding our partnerships with organizations like the Florida Association of Recovery Residences. We're looking to get them involved in addressing this issue as well. Also, we're looking to facilitate more smart landlord campaigns. And so we want businesses who have properties that are available. We want to work with you. And so if you're interested, you can go to smartlandlord.org and apply. We've also hosted sessions with our faith-based community to see if they have land that is available to build housing on, and we want to make sure that they know the process and what resources are available to help facilitate that. We're looking to extend or strengthen our referral rights to units that are coming online. You can go to pbcgov.org and you can see something called the Housing Dashboard. There are a number of affordable housing units that are being produced. They're either in the process of coming online or they're about to open. And so what we want to do is make sure that we're working with developers and that some of those units that are set aside at a lower rate, that they're working with us so that we can place individuals who are in our shelters or individuals who are in our temporary or transitional housing settings, place them into those affordable units so that they're permanently housed. Of course, we want to extend our partnerships with assisted living facilities and others to expand our ability to house individuals. Cottage homes is something that we want to pursue, and so we're looking at various models and locations where we can build more cottage homes. And in terms of increasing availability of temporary and permanent housing, there are lots of other strategies that we are employing in order to make that happen, including looking at room sharing opportunities, figuring out how we can relocate individuals to more affordable places to live, and maybe getting support from friends and family members. If we need to triage them into placement or treatment facilities, that's something that we will do. We're expanding beds for medical respite, working with sober homes, working to figure out what existing affordable housing development projects are coming online so that we can partner with them. And we're also working with our housing authorities, community land trusts, affordablehousing.com, which is a great partner, and we're going to continue to host our quarterly Smart Landlord campaigns. When we look at enhancing coordination with system partners, and that's really important, we want to make sure that every stakeholder who wants to engage in this particular topic or issue, that they have a way to engage. Businesses, faith-based community, other municipalities, service providers, other governmental entities, we want to create an avenue for you to get involved. And so that's part of our strategy, is developing a list of the 10 things, the top 10 most impactful things that you can do to engage with us in this issue. And in addition to that, we want to make sure that we're engaging our Criminal Justice Commission and our criminal justice system. And so instead of having individuals who are unhoused arrested, we prefer to have a diversion program like the homeless court or mental health court there to mitigate the potential impacts of unhoused being locked up as a result of not having a place to go. One of the things that we are focusing on with enhancing coordination is trying to get individuals document ready. And so we need mailing addresses. We need to make sure that people have access to birth certificates, to IDs, driver's licenses, to health care, to things like their social security cards, to things like SNAP benefits, to bank accounts. We want to make sure that they have resumes and that they're getting support through programs that are out there, that they have the employment skills that they need in order to be successful, that we can mitigate some of the fines and fees that they may have incurred as a result of being involved in the criminal justice system. If we can do record expungements, we want to do that. If there is some type of assistance needed with immigration, we want to be there to support them. And if they need a homeless declaration in order to qualify for various types of services, we want to be there to support them as well. And so a lot is going on to enhance coordination with system partners, including having many of these entities coming together to figure out the best option for individuals who are involved with our homeless system. But we also want to have regional day centers throughout the county. And so it doesn't make sense for someone who's unhoused in West Palm Beach or, let's say, Lake Worth. They shouldn't have to come to West Palm or to Delray to get a shower or to get food. And so we're looking to establish regional day centers so that they can minimize the amount of time that's needed to get some of the basic needs, and they can move towards being placed through our homeless outreach team. We're enhancing partnerships with 211 to offer transportation options for those who are unhoused. We're expanding our Parks to Work program, and so individuals, if they agree to go into our shelters, we can hire them to clean up our parks, our streets, maybe our beaches, or wherever they're needed. We are looking to work with those individuals who have lower barriers. If we're using HUD funding, oftentimes that's housing and urban development, oftentimes that we're required to work with those who have the greatest needs first. But if we're utilizing a different source of funding, then we may be able to house those who are recently evicted. There were 65% of the individuals that we counted on the streets who were considered unhoused were unhoused for the first time. And so that means that the barriers are lower. They may have a job. They may have the education needed to gain employment. They may have all of these things. They just need to be connected to housing. And so we want to create opportunities to house them as well. And then we want to work with our faith-based community to develop a parking lot initiative to make sure that families who are sleeping in their cars, in parks, that they have a safe place to go where they can use the restroom, they can get showers, they can get wraparound support services, they can have security there and remain safe. And lastly, we're looking to leverage technology to enhance the overall system performance. And so I mentioned our partnership with affordablehousing.com. We're also expanding our GIS capabilities so that every time our homeless outreach team goes to a location, we can drop a ping there and see exactly where homelessness is most prevalent. We're expanding our call center to 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we're working on creating some type of AI chat box feature to assist. We're linking with the Palm Beach County Connect app, and what this will allow us to do is to have an interface for those of you who are in the public. If you are driving down the street and you stop on a corner and you see someone that's unhoused, you can open that app, take a picture, it'll automatically drop a ping on where they are, and it will go to our homeless outreach team, and we'll be able to engage them in services. We're looking to expand access to the resource and referral portal, which is a feature in our application system that allows us to make referrals and to follow up on referrals to outside agencies. We are integrating permanent supportive housing and emergency shelter into the housing dashboard that I mentioned earlier, so that we can continue to have an overall tally of housing that's available. And we're going to continue to work with the Palm Beach County School District on integrated homeless dashboard, which is an electronic system that has created a lot of efficiencies to identify students who are homeless and to get them linked to services. Finally, if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts as to how we can engage with the community or do this work better, we'd love to hear from you. You can call 833-HHA-WILL and reach someone at our call center. And if you're in need of services, you can also call 833-HH-WILL and be navigated for help. The CSD-WILL number, 833-CSD-WILL, is a number that you can call if you're looking to get rental assistance or some other types of services. The HHA-WILL number is specifically for those who are homeless and they're looking to be navigated for supports. So thank you very much. I hope that you now better understand our response to House Bill 1365, and we look forward to engaging with you in the near future. Thank you.